Now we're gonna get into the collapse in software stocks. Yes, it's AI. So big shout out to this guy, Wolfgang Shakar. He is ahead of, all the guys I just showed you. He's months and months ahead of this guy. I did a live stream about another video he did. Dude, he should have a lot more followers. I think it's because of, I don't know. He has spot on content. Like, I don't know where he gets his, yeah, I'm sure he does his proper due diligence, like old school style. But yeah, shout out to this guy. He has great insight. So make sure you give him a follow. Check out his videos, Wolfgang Shakar. I'll for sure put the link to this in the description after. So yeah, he pretty much let's just start off. Let's start off.
Collapse in software stocks. Yes, AI is the problem. Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. So as we've seen today, the tech sector, especially software, is tanking. The leaders in the software sector especially are sort of collapsing. That would include Microsoft, Salesforce, SAP, ServiceNow, Oracle. So there is a hangover of circular financing deals. There are fears of a bubble among stockholders in these companies. That's not the only problem, though. So let's get into it and take a look at what's going on. For example, Microsoft. There's a bear market in software tech stocks, but especially Microsoft is severely misfiring. Okay, corporate customers, their legacy customers, are rejecting the Copilot push. Corporate customers are not seeing enough benefit to do the mass adoption of AI tools that Microsoft is trying to push on them, so they're rejecting it. And sort of as a side effect, legacy products, Microsoft legacy products like Windows 11, Microsoft Office, etc., even the installation of those products is having tragic effects on corporate customers. And then there are runtime problems like the shutdown is not working reliably with Windows 11. The cloud service, Azure, Microsoft Azure, has been blocked randomly, seemingly randomly for users. Microsoft Outlook has been failing to launch. And perhaps the worst of all, boot up problems, boot sector problems, resulting in the blue screen of death.
Yeah, dude, one of my PCs I bought like less than 2 years ago, literally out of nowhere just turned into a brick. Like I can't even boot it up anymore or even like reformat it. It's just a fucking brick now. Is it? Here it is. This is where I used to do my streams on here. As you can see, it's a nice desk weight. Anywho,
you haven't seen that in Microsoft products in a long time. So they have sort of abandoned care of their legacy products and their legacy customers. They sort of just walked away from it. It's basically like fend for yourself, good luck. These are our products, you've been buying them. This is the legacy profit centers for Microsoft also. And you have to blame the CEO. That guy has been doing this for a while. This has been going on for a while. The decisions made at the topmost level, eventually stockholders, the shareholders in the company will put enough pressure on the board of directors to do something, okay? The most recent time that happened, I think, was back when Steve Ballmer came out with Windows 8, which was awful. It was a huge disaster. Microsoft Windows 8 was so bad, they skipped Windows 9. They went to Windows 10 after Windows 8. So this.
I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Just because 8 is bad doesn't mean you skip 9. Just do 9. That's crazy. That's a crazy logical jump. 8 was awful. Let's just go to 10, huh?
CEO of Microsoft right now is getting into the league of a Steve Ballmer. They've really taken their eye off the
So let's look at that stat.
Windows 8. So the CEO of Microsoft right now went a huge disaster. Microsoft Windows 8 was so bad, they skipped Windows 9. They went to Windows 10 after Windows 8. So the CEO of Microsoft right now is getting into the league of a Steve Ballmer. They've really taken their eye off the ball. They're really pushing hard AI products onto their user base who really is not seeing enough benefit to accept it. So this is kind of a quote. Why is this happening now? This is the quote. Many industry analysts and frustrated admins on the Microsoft community hub have pointed to a lack of focus at Microsoft. There's a growing sentiment that the aggressive push by Microsoft to integrate Copilot and AI features into every corner of Windows 11 has come at the expense of stability and legacy products. So basically, they've made a conscious decision to walk away from their legacy income. Those are not just legacy customers. Those corporate customers, that is their income. That's
Yeah,
where they make the
man.
bulk of their.
So essentially, Microsoft, one of the biggest tech companies in the world, they're fumbling so hard. They're about to lose where they make their money because they're investing on a side that actually loses them money. Like they're so desperate. They're so like in this FOMO, like fear of missing out, like, oh, we can't miss this AI push, that they're sacrificing their legacy customers, which make them billions of dollars a year, which allows them to invest in AI. They're abandoning them for a product that doesn't work and is actually kind of detrimental. Like this is the most ass backwards shit like ever. It's it's unbel even saying it out loud, it's like what, how can people with this much money be so irresponsible? But then again, it's just you gotta chalk it up to human fallibility.
Their money. Last year, 2025, Microsoft laid off 15,000 people. Where did that money go? 15,000 people. Configure an average between 100 to 200,000 per year times 15,000 jobs. That freed up money
It's a
is
lot of
going
money.
to the black hole of wasted money that OpenAI has become. That's the truth. They may not like hearing that, but that's the truth. Somebody's going to tell them that. The board of directors is finally going to put their foot down and say, "Fix this. This is getting ridiculous." So OpenAI is a hype factory, and OpenAI is facing the largest losses in startup history. That's
Just so you know, this is relevant because Microsoft is one of the biggest backers of OpenAI. This is why it's so relevant. So Microsoft is abandoning their legacy customers, which has been their bread and butter for the last few decades. They're sacrificing them for OpenAI, a company that's literally hemorrhaging billions of dollars every quarter. That's exactly what's happening right now.
decades. That's decades of history we're talking about. Losses in the
Watch.
factory, and OpenAI is facing the largest losses in startup history. That's
The largest losses in startup history. Listen to what he says next.
decades. That's decades of history we're talking about. OpenAI is a hype factory. For example, this might be one of the most important parts of this video. AI has almost no paying customers. About a month ago,
Whoops. AI has almost no paying customers. Lovely.
we did some research. We found out only 3% of users of AI are paying anything. 3%. So all this push into Copilot and so on.
That's if his research is accurate, which I feel like it is because what he's shown me in the past is that his research is accurate. Because I've watched this guy for a couple months. This guy knows what he's talking about. He could be wrong, but if that number is right, that is an astonishing number. 3%. Imagine you had a restaurant where only 3% of the people paid for their food. How soon will that restaurant close? It won't last a month.
It's not enough of a benefit for people to pay for, right? So they're walking away from their legacy income in favor of something that's not making them any money. It's just
Exactly.
stupid. It's just gotten to the point where someone is going to have to shake them into reality and say, replace the CEO with someone who respects the legacy income and recognizes that AI is not living up to what people expected. So, Microsoft is not alone in this. Large tech companies are racing. They're stepping over each other to lose more money than the other companies that users are not paying for. They are going out of their way to push their competitors out of the way so they can put money down a black hole. Meanwhile, nobody is paying for artificial intelligence.
Do you guys hear what he's saying? Like he's saying it so matter of factly and nonchalantly, but it's really it's mind numbing what he's saying. You guys really got it's. He's saying what he's saying is so Microsoft's losing all this money, right? Obviously with OpenAI, and then you have other companies battling to invest in the companies that are losing. Like they're like, oh, I want to lose more. Like the FOMO is that real? Like it's worse than degens on Solana. Like people race to get into memes that are gonna obviously lose their value. Like OpenAI has become just a shit coin, a AI shit coin.
It's ridiculous. Again, if you look at our video from a month ago, AI has almost no paying customers. We described the small number of people paying anything for it. So Oracle, another case in point, another example is right now they're having a financial crisis. Just a few months ago, their stock was at 328 a share, and they were doing well. They were doing quite well. It emboldened them to take huge risks uh, and decide to flush tons of money down the black hole of OpenAI. So Microsoft is not the only company that's flushing tons of money.
His chuckle killed me. I gotta run that back. Sorry, I just love catching this shit.
Right now, they're having a financial crisis. Just a few months ago, their stock was at 328 a share,
Watch his
and they were
chuckle.
doing well. They were doing quite well. It emboldened them to take huge risks uh, and decide to flush tons of money down the black hole of OpenAI. So Microsoft is not the only company that's flushing tons of money into the black hole, the hype factory known as OpenAI.
So we have Microsoft and Oracle battling for the biggest dummy in tech.
Oracle is in the same boat. So Oracle stock price has collapsed from 328 down to, I just looked before I started this video, it was like $153, 156, $153 a share today. This is the worst crash in Oracle stock in 25 years.
Oy.
It's the worst drop since the dot-com bubble burst.
Oy.
And Oracle is panicking. They're contemplating selling off pieces of that company to pay for data centers. So at some point, you have to put your foot down and say, stop, this does not make sense. Nobody is paying for AI. Stop with this rollout. This data center rollout does not make sense. The circular financing has blinded you tech leaders into thinking there's something here. There may actually be nothing here. If only 3% of users are paying anything, listen to that. That's telling you something. At Microsoft, the number of corporate customers who are unhappy, listen to that. That's telling you something, right? So Oracle is
Obviously.
considering a 30,000 job reduction, cutting 30.
I feel like you learned that in like business 101. It's like, man, FOMO really is a mental illness. Like if you have FOMO, like you should just take a step back. Like, because FOMO makes you straight up retarded. You have no sense of discernment. I mean, if you have more money than you can spend, I mean, fuck it, whatever. But this isn't that. These companies have a limited amount of money, and I think they're way over. They put too much into something that's for sure gonna fail.
1,000 jobs times somewhere between 100,000 a year to 200,000 a year in salary, multiplied by the number of those jobs, 30,000 jobs. Where is that money going? Down the AI black hole. That's where.
Yep.
Oracle has promised $300 billion to OpenAI. It's crazy what is going on.
300 bill. How do you promise $300 billion to OpenAI, a clearly failing AI company? Unless there's something more nefarious going on underneath. Like if this is just some, I don't know, maybe I'm giving like too much credit to, like, nah, it's just really dumbness.
have lost their minds. Salesforce has laid off 4,000 employees due to AI investments, their Agentforce product. This is a quote, by late 2025, Salesforce executives admitted to declining confidence in large language models due to reliability issues. Reports indicated that these AI models often failed to follow instructions, leading to a strategic shift inside Salesforce towards more predictable automation solutions. So Microsoft, Oracle, Salesforce, not the only companies that are flushing money down the black hole of it. You've got 3% of users who are paying for this service. Nobody sees enough value in it.
3%. Like it's you might think it's obvious because I know I don't pay for AI. I don't know anybody who does. Maybe I do and they don't tell me, but when I use Grok, I just use Grok, or I never use ChatGPT. Like, I mean, if you it makes sense. Only 3% of people, like I just said, if you had any business, a grocery store, if 3% of people paid for their groceries, The grocery store is done the next day. How are you gonna pay the employee? I mean, labor is the number one cost in businesses. How are you gonna pay? You can't even pay labor with 3% people paying. And when you can't pay labor, I mean, the whole thing could just whole collapses in an instant.
Apple Computer is a standout.
Hey, shout out to Apple. I'm not an Apple like fanatic. I'm not anti-Apple, but they were really quiet for a long time in the AI space. They weren't making too much noise, and now it's starting to make sense. They were just like doing recon and be like, okay, OpenAI's fucking up. Microsoft, our competitor, they fuck with OpenAI. So you can tell Apple was never gonna fuck with OpenAI because Microsoft is the biggest backer. Like you can I mean, in hindsight, that's probably really clear. So it makes sense why you'll see next that what AI they're gonna be implementing because they know for sure it's gonna cost way too much money to develop their own AI. So yeah, let this man tell you.
People at the time questioned Apple. They said, okay, so Apple is giving up on AI. They're going to license AI Gemini, basically, from Google. So what's going on right now with these other companies?
Oh snap! Before I continue, I see you, Ollie. Shout out to you. I didn't see your message there. What's crack-a-lackin'? Thanks for stopping by. OpenAI fell off for real. Yeah, man. It's all bad. I hope you're enjoying the video, man. LLMs are dead. True AI is where it's at. Yeah, man. That's why we fuck with Cubic and Cubic only. I fuck with Grok sometimes when I need help. Making video titles and descriptions. All right, anywho, let's get back to the video. Sorry, I had to say what up to my guy in the chat.
So Apple is giving up on AI. They're going to license AI Gemini, basically, from Google. So what's going on right now with these other companies? It's making Tim Cook look like a genius.
Yep.
He was 100% correct to abandon the cash flush fiasco. That guy was smart about this a while back, many weeks ago, when he broke ties and decided to license artificial intelligence from Google instead of trying to develop on their own. So things have changed pretty rapidly in AI. Flushing money down a black hole, that's not what Apple is known for. Yep. That has not been their tradition, their legacy.
That's true.
And
very true.
Lucky for the large user base of Apple products, Apple is stable. It will remain stable. It's not in a fiasco situation. Microsoft, Salesforce, Oracle, and other large tech companies, they are in deep trouble because they have not come to the realization, they have not looked at the facts. When only 3% of users are willing to pay anything, that tells you something about that product. You should not be flushing huge sums of billions of dollars. Oracle, $300 billion to OpenAI, it's crazy. So
yeah, man, like it's really clear in hindsight. Most of these companies are fucking up, and Apple was actually the smartest one the whole time. Like sometimes the quietest guy in the room is the smartest guy, and this is like a perfect example of that. Apple was like, look at all these people, and Apple did the research. They're like, only 3% of users pay? Like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna put $1 bazillion into that shit. Where's the return on investment? They put their money in the right spot. They saw OpenAI and they're like, ugh. They looked at Gemini, because I mean, come on. Gemini. I mean, Google is Gemini is Google's AI, and Google has, I mean, buku funds, and their research is. It's a lot less. Yeah, Google Gemini is just certainly, as you can see, Apple's betting on Google Gemini because OpenAI is an obvious failure. The numbers don't lie. All these other companies were FOMOing because Microsoft did this and Oracle did that and Nvidia is doing this. So OpenAI was leveraging their connections with Microsoft and Nvidia to convince these other people to invest their money into his bullshit, and now they're all about to pay the piper. And Apple's just came out like, slap dynamic entry, bitch. We're gonna use Gemini. So this is for sure gonna be the start of the downfall. What's cracking, Mr. Tutoring Services? You're here live, my boy. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, I'm gonna try to go live more often in the morning when I have like a day off or a morning off. But yeah, no set schedule yet because I got things going on in life. Can't complain, but life's good. Good to see you live too, my guy. What do you guys think? What do you think, Mr. Tutoring Services, of what's been happening so far in this financial fiasco? All right, let's continue on. Let's run it back so you don't forget what he just said.
Because they have not come to the realization, they have not looked at the facts. When only 3% of users are willing to pay anything, that tells you something about that product. You should not be flushing huge sums of billions of dollars. Oracle, 300 billion to OpenAI. It's crazy. So here's what we think the near future of technology stocks is going to be. There will be a reset, a downward, a reduction in expectations about the promise of artificial intelligence. And the flushing money down the drain for AI will stop. It will have to. Because at some point, they will run out of ways to pay for these huge cash flushes. Stockholders, boards of directors will tell CEOs about the damage in reputation and loss of confidence in their decisions. Right now, corporate customers of Microsoft, wow, they are livid at this stuff that's been going on.
Livid.
They should fire. Microsoft should replace that CEO. Maybe give him a position, a lateral position or something. But they need a new person in there.
Wolf Gang keeps it 110,000%. Once again, shout out to Wolf Gang Shakar. He's got some of the best heads up on the tech stuff, tech content. He spotted this months ago. I did a live stream and a video on this guy. He spotted this many moons ago, and now it's coming to pass, and he's got more insight for us. So shout out, make sure you give him a follow and watch his videos. He's got really good insight into the game. He's very matter of fact, concise, to the point. He's not he doesn't waste his time trying to make you feel things. He's just this, calls it like it is, moves on. Love this guy.
Who understands these problems. That person does not. The person leading that company. The same with Oracle, Salesforce.
Fire that guy. Fire him. He's stupid. He's costing your company billions in market share.
I don't know if leadership can be salvaged there, but they're making these poor decisions. So, in the future, more and more companies are going to follow Apple's lead. Let other companies flush their money down a drain on artificial intelligence, because that's actually what's happening. There is not enough benefit to people to be willing to pay, right? When you, again, if you look at our video.
That reminds me of what he just said, was the Apple's approach. Let other companies flush their money on AI. It reminds me of is it Sun Tzu, The Art of War? Don't interrupt your enemy while he's making a mistake. That's legit what Apple was doing. He's like, look at these idiots. Okay, let's see where this is going. And they're like, nice. We're gonna use Gemini. Have fun with OpenAI, guys. Like, they weren't gonna warn them. They're like, we're just gonna watch these guys fucking do this. Hell yeah. But then again, they're gonna they're causing a bubble too by letting it happen. So fuck them as well.
To be willing to pay, right? When you, again, if you look at our video, AI has almost no paying customers. If you watch that, it explains, and it's a short video too, in detail, what's really happening with the payment situation with AI. Nobody's paying for it. So when nobody's paying for it, why are you spending $300 billion on data centers? Why are you promising OpenAI $300 billion? Stop already. Stop, right? You want to grab these people and say,
stop.
Have some coffee. Let's talk, Let's talk about this. This is a mistake. And so that's what's going to happen in the near future. Most of these big companies will come, they'll come together and they'll say, Tim Cook was right. There's not enough here to move forward with this. So who will be the last man standing? It's not clear yet. Anthropic is out there. Google, Gemini is out there. Amazon has some work still going. I believe Facebook does. But these companies who are abandoning their legacy users, especially Microsoft, they're just sacrificing themselves at the altar of foolishness. So if you have any questions about this, post in the comments. If I missed anything, definitely let me know. I'd like to hear it. And we can hope for the best for these, because most of us have, exposure to some of these stocks. If you invest in the S&P 500, you have exposure. If you invest in the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ 100 stocks and ETF, if you're diversified, you're still getting exposure to these losers, these companies making these awful, awful decisions. So
I love this guy.
we'll see how it goes from here. Hopefully, things will turn out better than things are looking today, because today the Nasdaq is showing the stress that these big tech companies are suffering. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Please post questions in the comments. I really want to thank everyone for watching, and have a great day.
Yeah. So there's that. There's that. There's this. And there's that. So there's that. Mr. Tutoring Service says, this guy is really interesting. I've never seen him before, but we'll follow. You are exactly right, Samson, regarding this bubble, and Mag 7 is currently holding up the S&P 500. It's just a matter of time. Yep. There's the numbers are there. Now it's about, it's like knowing is half the battle. Now you have to, if you're invested in these companies, and you have to just act accordingly. I'm not saying, I mean, I'm not invested in these companies, but like G.I. Joe said, man, knowing is half the battle. Like the data's there. Now do something with it.